So, hello. This is just an opportunity for you all to join in with a conversation that myself, Sarah and Stuart have been having. And this is entirely about the problem of being in lockdown and our current situation, and that we don't want people to think that Christmas is cancelled. We wanted to do something special for Christmas, and we wanted to build up to Christmas to have our own Advent event. And in order to do that, obviously, a lot of it's going to be online and all this sort of thing. But we wanted to be able to include those who are online, those who are offline. And we wanted to bring all our circuit together in a single activity. And we're going to call that activity Christmas is Not Cancelled. And the idea is very simple, that from our various different churches, we're going to collect together contributions, and we are going to post, send out, put on Facebook, send to web pages, put on YouTube, a contribution every single day for the 24 days in December building up to Christmas. And so what we're hoping to do is to gather something from every church within our circuit so that we can share that with everybody else in the circuit. So I hope that makes sense. What our conversation is going to be about is what you might want to contribute and how you might be able to contribute. So in a moment, I'll go over to Sarah so that she can start that off, because I know she's got a couple of useful ideas. But just to say that obviously, depending on what technology you've got or haven't got, we can either come and help you make something. You can send something in to us. If you've got lots of tech, you might want to do something sophisticated and clever. Anyway, we'll come round to all that. Sarah, you had some ideas, I think. Start us off with some thoughts about what we might do.
Okay. Well, we're in lockdown and we have time to think. And I'm sure you have lots of wonderful memories about how you have celebrated Christmas in your churches in times gone by. So there's an invitation. Can you share one of those memories with us? You could send in a photograph. Maybe you could record some of your ideas. And if you can't do that, ask us and one of us will come and record your conversation.
Socially distant, of course.
Socially distant, of course.
Socially distant,
absolutely.
Of course.
or online on a screen like we're doing now.
Yeah.
What have you done in your church? How have you celebrated? We'd love to know.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point, because one of the reasons, I'd completely forgotten this, the whole reason that myself, Sarah and Stuart are doing this on a Zoom call, recording it and sending it out, because that is one of the options that we've got, is that if you're able to Zoom and you want to chat and record it, well, actually, here we are. Hello, we're talking about Christmas and celebrating Christmas. And hey, presto, we've made a video about Christmas is not cancelled. And you've now all seen it. The fact that you're seeing it means it must have worked, I hope. So yes, so it could be as simple as that. And as Sarah says, or sending things in. What other options have we got before us?
I think we're talking about people don't actually have to appear. So if you're the shy, retiring type, like we obviously aren't, but if you're like that, you don't have to appear in it. You could just send us some photos. Maybe a little script about what the photos are showing, and we're happy to put that into a slideshow. I think we can even add a bit of music, jazz it up, etc. So you could just do it totally without anyone having to appear. So don't feel that you have to film yourself or anybody else. It can just be photos. I think the other thing we were talking about was the length of time, was it? It only needs to be about 3 minutes. Yes. 3 minutes worth. Yeah. So if you do have a 25-minute eulogy on the meaning of Advent, probably save that for friends and family. But a little 3-minute slots, something that we can do and put out quickly, that would be ideal.
Yeah. That usually on the internet these days, people recommend that videos are about 3 minutes long. That's the sort of attention span that appeals most to people. This video might go slightly over that, but even this, we're going to try not to go on too long, because the message will get across pretty quickly. What about the what we're contributing in terms of as a church. I mean, Sarah's mentioned memories and so on. We're talking about actual memories and things connected to your church or community, aren't we?
Yeah.
I don't think you were being I don't think you were being rude, but we were saying we kind of, you know, we're not looking for pictures of everybody's grandchildren skipping about in the snow or whatever, however lovely a memory that is.
No.
So so what might that look like? What might we have?
So if your church has had a Christmas tree festival and you have photographs of it, please send them in. If your church has had a fabulous crib scene, send it in. If your church, for example, has done a wonderful flower display and you have photographs, we'd love to see them.
Yeah, that sounds great.
We were saying, weren't we, the tricky thing is that obviously we've got 24 days in Advent, so it'd be great to have a contribution, maybe 2 contributions from some churches, but try if you can, and we realise it's really difficult during lockdown, but try and get some kind of consensus from the church about which contribution you'd like to make. Yes. So to avoid just us being overwhelmed with, I know you've all got things you'd like to share, but try and have a chat with those you're in contact with and make some sort of joint decision, so you can say this is what most of us would like to share, rather than each of us sharing something individually, if possible. I mean, I realise that's a bit tricky, but you know, it saves us getting into trouble for choosing which photos to show, and then, you know, someone will say, "Oh, you didn't show my picture," and I you know, try and get some sort of agreement on it if you can.
Yes, absolutely. And I think along with all of that, there's also the thought that for some churches, it is something that happens inside the church. I think in some churches, and I'm thinking of one of my own churches at the moment, actually, I'm pretty sure that what they would want to film was something that was happening in their community that they get involved in every year. So it might be something. I know, Sarah, you had an idea about something that might be happening in your community, I don't know if you wanted to share that, and then perhaps we could talk about, just say, and obviously that would be the sort of thing that you could go and film and send it to us.
So this is an idea for this year, and here is my angel. I love the fact that the angels in the Christmas story, they come to the characters and they say, "Do not be afraid." And why are they saying that? Because God is here. God is with us. What a great message. So what the churches together are doing in Harpenden is they're inviting people in their houses to put up a picture of an angel. They have this dream that there'll be a heavenly host of angels in all the houses in all the town. Isn't that wonderful? And maybe we could extend that across the whole circuit. So there's the invitation. Can you make a picture of an angel and stick it in your window? So first lockdown, we had rainbows. Second lockdown, let's have some angels. Now, if you don't know how to draw an angel, here's one I've made earlier. And Andrew is going to share a picture of an angel that we will put on the website and put on social media that you could download and you could put up in your window. And the angel said, "Do not be afraid, God is here." And if you're up for this challenge, then hopefully I will then be able to come and walk down the street and see lots of angels in the window, and I could perhaps film that and put that in our Christmas Isn't Cancelled.
It's a pretty funky looking angel, I have to say. It's really, really good.
Very nice. Very nice.
I didn't draw it, my daughter did.
And she's an artist, right?
She is an artist, yes.
Is it? I know my daughter would say that the hair and things owe something to sort of manga and the Japanese cartoons, but that's brilliant. So that's a lovely thing. I'm going to stop sharing that now, but we will make sure we attach that to the post when this goes out, and we'll send it round to people so that you can copy that if you want. So there you go. I think Stuart's going to do a sooty and sweet.
Fluffy's just reminded me that if you do something with children, just be aware of the safeguarding. So it's probably best, as she says, if you can avoid putting children's faces in, and it's probably, even if it's an adult, it's worth getting their permission if you're going to include them in the video. But I would probably say it's best not to have children appear. Was that right? Yes, I think that was. Yeah, all right, okay. So just be aware of the safeguarding issues over children, please.
And that's got to be the best way of introducing the subject of safeguarding I'll ever see. Thank you. The bunny will shortly be appointed as the safeguarding officer for this project. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in theory, there is no problem if you have permission having children in the video, but it is difficult sometimes getting the permissions. So on the whole, better to show what they're doing, and perhaps that's probably one of the key things, isn't it, that as we were saying before, we don't necessarily have to see your faces. It might be something that you're doing rather than actually you. I mean, yes, if you're presenting your 3-minute eulogy on the meaning of Advent, yeah, we're probably going to want to see you. If on the other hand, you're filming the High Street or the Christmas Tree Festival or the crib is the thing we want to see, you know, and what's happening in the church is what we want to see, and that's a beautiful little crib, isn't it? That's wonderful. So
is it worth just mentioning about how it gets sent to us? Because
yes.
So I was just going to say, I think if you're familiar with stuff like WeTransfer, that's a good way to do it, because sometimes if it's a fairly big file, a photo, it probably go by email, but video might not. But just again to say, if you have any problems and you think, I don't know how to get this to Stuart, Andrew or Sarah, just email us and we will be in touch and see if we can figure it out between us. I'm sure we can find a way somehow. Yeah.
Andrew and Stuart, isn't it worth reminding people that we now have a Circuit Facebook page?
Yes.
That people are invited to join, West Hertfordshire and Borders Circuit Facebook page. So please do join it.
Yeah. Yes, because that will be the first place this goes out. So get people to join it, then they can see the video. Yeah. Excellent. Well, I think you've got the idea. Christmas is not cancelled. We're celebrating Christmas. 24 days of Advent building up to Christmas. I know that's before the theologians send me messages. I know that is not Advent. It's just that's a nice slot, like opening the calendar doors on your Advent calendar, opening one for each day, and then on the 25th, you know, it's Christmas. Yes, so thank you for joining us. Anything else that we need to say at this point?
I just have a question really about music, because I know some people, they might send in a video of the choir singing. Are we okay copyright? How does that work? Is there anything we need to be aware of?
As far as I know, and obviously we will check this, but as far as I know, all churches that have choirs also have to have the license to produce the material anyway. And the circuit websites and things will have the license, the appropriate license for producing material. So unless it's got a very strict copyright on it, but let's be honest, what we're talking about here is if we have something, we're hoping it's going to be a Christmas carol. We're hoping it's going to be something that is appropriate to our theme of Christmas. So, I mean, hopefully we won't be hitting too many issues around strict copyright or so on. Hang on, we'll check with the safeguarding bunny.
It's Fluffy was just asking if Matt Redmond could come and play on our video, and so that it's just you can't use somebody else's video. So as you say, as long as it's your choir singing or your pianist or whatever singing in your church, then you're probably fine. But don't invite, you know, YouTube's host of stars to do it for you, which I'm sure you wouldn't anyway, but just in case, you know.
Lovely. Well, thank you, folks. We're really looking forward to your contributions. We'll see you all soon, and I think we'll just wave bye from myself, Stuart, and Sarah.